1932, New Orleans, Louisiana. A quiet, unassuming man moves cash out of illegal casino operations, funnels it through layers of paperwork, and sends it overseas to Switzerland. Nobody at the time has a name for what he's doing. Decades later, investigators would simply call it money laundering, and Meyer Lansky would be credited with inventing the modern version of it. Meet the man who never once got convicted of the crime he basically designed. Born Meyer Lansky in 1902 in what's now Belarus, Lansky immigrated to New York's Lower East Side as a child, the son of a garment presser. He teamed up early with Bugsy Siegel and Charles Lucky Luciano, and by 1929, he was already helping organize the framework that would evolve into America's National Crime Syndicate, a loose governing structure meant to keep rival gangs from destroying each other's profits through constant infighting. Where other figures in that world built reputations on muscle, Lansky built his on math. He understood odds, bookkeeping, and banking better than almost anyone else in the business, which made him less of an enforcer and more of a financial architect for an entire underground economy. Al Capone's 1931 conviction taught every serious operator in organized crime the same lesson. It wasn't the crime itself that put you away, it was the money trail left behind. Lansky had already started moving profits out of Gulf Coast casino operations, in New Orleans and Florida alike, into overseas accounts by 1932, and when Switzerland passed its landmark 1934 Banking Act, formally guaranteeing account secrecy, he treated it like an open invitation. He eventually bought a stake in a Swiss bank outright, routing funds through numbered accounts, shell companies, and holding companies specifically designed so that no single document ever connected the money to its actual source. Investigators would later estimate he moved hundreds of millions of dollars through this network over his lifetime, taking a standard cut, reportedly somewhere between 5 and 10%, for laundering money on behalf of other organizations. Through the 1930s, Lansky expanded gambling operations across Florida and eventually into Cuba, cultivating a close relationship with dictator Fulgencio Batista that gave him effective control over much of Havana's casino industry. Unlike some of his competitors, Lansky reportedly insisted on strict integrity within his own games, understanding that a casino known for cheating its customers was a casino that eventually stopped making money at all. For nearly 3 decades, this made him functionally untouchable. Federal investigators knew what he was doing in broad strokes. They just couldn't prove any single transaction well enough to bring charges that would stick. That changed course in 1959, when Fidel Castro's revolution nationalized Cuba's casinos overnight, wiping out an estimated $7 million of Lansky's holdings there in a single stroke. With his offshore empire suddenly under closer scrutiny back home, renewed IRS and Justice Department investigations followed through the late 1960s. In 1970, facing mounting legal pressure, Lansky left the country entirely, traveling to Israel and attempting to claim citizenship there under the law of return. Israeli authorities, under direct pressure from the United States government, denied his application in 1972 and deported him back to face trial. Prosecutors tried repeatedly to make a tax evasion and skimming case against him stick. Lansky was ultimately acquitted, the government's decades of surveillance never quite translating into hard, provable numbers in a courtroom. When authorities eventually pressed him to formally account for his wealth, Lansky simply told them he owned about $57,000 in total assets. Investigators, who'd spent years estimating his actual fortune anywhere between $100 million and $400 million, couldn't prove otherwise. He retired to Miami Beach and died there in 1983 of lung cancer, at 80 years old. His officially recorded estate came to exactly the number he'd claimed years earlier, $57,000. Whatever else existed, spread across Swiss vaults and offshore corporations built specifically to never lead back to him, was never found. He spent 50 years teaching organized crime how to make its money invisible. In the end, he applied the same trick to himself, and it worked, right up until his last day on Earth.